Hey, T here from True Body Wellness. I know I said I was going to go live at 1 o'clock. It's now 1 o'clock. And I wanted to spend the next, 10, 15 minutes just talk about why I'm choosing to do this. And this past Friday, somebody just sent me a message, my bad. This past Friday I was online and I was looking up Toastmasters. Toastmasters is something that I've always wanted to do, and it's funny that my wife and I, we've been together for dumb long, since we're 15. I'm now 32, and I mentioned to her this morning what I was planning on doing, and she looked at me. First, she looked at me like she normally looks at me like, okay, here we go again. But Toastmasters is something I've always wanted to do because I always wanted to work better at being a better orator, being a better public speaker, and being able to give and share more of myself. But because of life, because of business, family, we got 2 little ones now, the home, all that stuff, nothing really fits into my schedule. So the thought crossed my mind about going live after I was talking with some people yesterday after service. After posting some of the videos for the competition, the 39 days to slim down, or fall fit for fall, excuse me. He was saying how it was just good to see me up there, good to hear some feedback from me, things along those lines. So I want to use this opportunity as a time to be able to, number one, pick a topic for 10 minutes and just talk about it. Whether about is sideways, my bad. See? Why I just told my joint sideways. See? I'm a rookie when it comes to this. Alright, cool, here we go. Pick that up. See, that's what my queen is for, always checking in on me. Alright, cool. So I want to use this opportunity to really work on my voice. Thank you very much. What up, Kathy? What up? I got strong. Neil, what's up? And I want to be more comfortable just sharing the thoughts. My mind can go a mile a minute sometimes, and there's a lot of content I've worked on in regards to training, in regards to competing, in regards to life skills that I'm putting together different series. And when I record myself, I end up not liking what I'm putting out. But here, I'm in an opportunity where I have to just deliver on information. So the topics will range from bodybuilding to competition to nutrition to lifestyle balance to things about fatherhood and parenting. Anything that's within my wheelhouse of things that I've experienced. Because people have questions about stuff sometimes. And I know I'm not the most vocal person about what goes on in my everyday dealings. But if you were to talk to me one-on-one, I'd be very, very vocal about them just because it's the kind of person that I am. But also there's a lot of people who I haven't seen in a while. You know, family moves. We have people in California, people in North Carolina, people in Virginia. We don't get to meet up anymore. We don't sit on the phone and talk for hours like we did back in the day because we're just busy. So I hope for this time to also be a time where I'm able to just connect and reconnect with people I haven't seen in a while, who I haven't talked to in a while. And also, like I said, use that 10 minutes of time to really just become better at being a better version of me and sharing more of me and just, just expressing more of who I feel as though I am. So that's more so the reason why I decided to do this. And my goal is to do it every single Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I want to do it at 1 o'clock. The goal, I don't have a name for the segment. Basically, what was in my spirit was 10 minutes. Talk on a subject for 10 minutes. Whether it's a subject I come up with, or whether it be a subject that somebody who's watching now. What up, Shannon? Haven't seen you in forever. A subject that somebody else may bring up. Because people ask me questions all the time about health, about nutrition, about family life, about how to balance those things out. Because it does take time, and it's not an easy thing to do, to manage a business, to manage the kids, and also to be a husband as well. Because honestly, life is real. And sometimes life is, I don't know how to put it. It can be very, very taxing. It can weigh very, very heavily. We don't have the right skill sets or even the right resources to teach you how to become better in managing all those moving pieces. But anyway, so those will be the broad range of topics we're going to rock with and talk about. But I know the topic for today I want to talk about one question people ask me a lot. And they always ask me why bodybuilding. And for me, bodybuilding started by accident. I didn't plan on doing what I'm doing. I genuinely didn't. If you ask my wife, when I was younger, when I heard the term bodybuilding, I always thought steroids. So I always associated the two. Not saying there's anything wrong with that per se, but it wasn't my path of choosing. I didn't want to use performance enhancing drugs. So I started working out when I was 14, very, very serious from very, very early on. I didn't start competing until I was about 24, around that time period. And the reason why I got into competition was because a friend of mine, we were training at a gym, my man Remy, Sam, and it was I. And Sam wanted to compete. He had to do an hour of cardio every single day. So we all hated cardio. And so Remy and I decided to do a half-hour cardio with him. One would do a half hour, I'll do the other half hour. And that got me into the habit of doing competition. But in the process of being around him, I started to learn that there were others who were very, very mindful of their health like I was. They were very, very mindful of taking care of their body as if it was a temple and not just a vehicle to get you from point A to point B. And that was a mindset that I always had for myself. I took this very, very serious from early on. So, honestly, even before competition started, bodybuilding and taking care of my body was an escape. It was a way for me to be able to deal with the different pressures and to deal with the stress and the pain that was going on just in my household growing up. I know I have two sisters, one older and two younger, and two of them have sickle cell anemia. So for me growing up, we lived at the hospital. We were there a lot. We were at CHOP so much. I mean, I always joke saying that we were there so much that the security guys knew us by name because we just spent so much time at the hospital. And for me, when I first started working out, it was freshman year of high school. The first time I worked out, I joined the track club, and I remember doing a circuit. I went around the circuit. We were at the track club. We went from machine to machine to machine to machine, and the next day I couldn't move my arms. I lie to you not. My arms were stuck like this. And I thought I hurt myself because I read about how people can hurt themselves from working out and whatnot, but I was really a rookie when it comes to it. So I didn't tell my dad, I didn't tell anybody. And it took about 9 days. It took about 9 days for my body to stop hurting so much. I would literally go home, put my hand on the dresser to stretch my arm out, and this part felt like it was tearing. But after those 9 days, I realized I loved the feeling. And it wasn't just the feeling of the pain, it was knowing that I was able to put myself in a position to be able to change my circumstance. Now, for those who know me from when I was younger, they know that I was really, really weak, and I was also very skinny. Now, I wasn't like emaciated skinny, but I always joke saying if I turned sideways, I would disappear. But I didn't like that feeling. Another reason why I started working out, I told my younger sister this, Mekama, years later, that we got into a fight one time. I was a freshman in high school, and we got into a fight. Me and her, we used to fight all the time. I mean, wrestling, throwing into walls, all types of stuff. We used to really get it in. So, we got into a fight. We were wrestling, and I almost lost the fight. Now, mind you, she is 4 years younger than me, a female. No offense, but I'm a big brother. I almost lost the fight. I never told her this. She didn't know. When I got upstairs to my room after the fight, I was like, yo, this is not okay. I can't lose in a fight to my little sister because she's naturally strong. So I remember watching Baywatch on my bed trying to do crunches. I remember it clear as day. And that's how it all started for me then, with aspirations to want to get better. And like I said, working out allowed me to feel more comfortable in my skin. That's one thing I'm not sure if anybody watching now can relate to. But I know for myself, ever since I was a little kid, I never felt, she said, you did lose? I didn't lose, whatever. Anyway, I never felt comfortable in my skin. And that's something that I'm sure other people can relate to, but people automatically assume, really big, leave me alone. People automatically assume that I felt good in my skin just because you always have to be overweight not to be comfortable in your body. And I never felt as though my body was a good representation of me and or of my spirit. I felt in my spirit, I wanted my body to be a representation of my spirit. And I wanted for someone to see me from afar and be able to recognize the power of my spirit of being a child of God because of the physique that I had. So that was also an inner motivation that I just felt awkward in my body. And to put a timestamp on it, I started working out in 1998. It wasn't until I remember it was August of 2011 that the first time I actually felt comfortable in my body. What's going on, Kareem? Good to see you, brother. And so that is what training allowed me to do. And I was long before competing. I just wanted to get into a place where I felt comfortable in my body and I felt satisfied with who I was, and the ability to put on clothes, the ability to walk around with my chest held high, the ability to speak with confidence. Because when your body feels off, you don't carry yourself the same way. When your body feels off, you are more self-conscious. You're looking over your shoulder more often. You're more worried about how somebody else may view you. just because you don't feel comfortable in your skin, even though somebody else may not be watching you whatsoever. But the reality of it is, it's something within your power to control. And in this life, there are so many uncertainties. There's so many things that you just have no control over. And I know for me growing up, it was frustrating because there was just so much going on that I had no say-so over. And I remember growing up and waking up and seeing the red and blue lights around the house because the ambulance was outside taking my sister to the hospital. And you remember just feeling so helpless. You feel so powerless. But then when I would get into the gym, when I would get to go work out, everything made sense. And I've said to my wife before that when you work out, 20 pounds is always 20 pounds. You go to pick up that dumbbell, it's still 20 pounds just like it was the last time. In days growing up, you never knew what you're going to get. You never knew who was going to be sick. You didn't know who was going to be having a crisis. You didn't know who was going to be coming and going. And that atmosphere of the gym is what I refer to. I called it my sanctuary because that's the first place where I felt at peace. It's the first place that things just made sense for me. It's the first place that I could go to and rely on consistently and know that, okay, when I go here, I know what to expect. When I go here, I know what's going to happen. When I go here, I can just release and let out all the frustration and all the aggression that you may build up just in life from being a child, from battling with your self-images, from working on self-esteem issues, from just being a sibling, just for being in life. But the gym was a healthy place for me to go to, that I could just channel all of that frustration into. And that's what took things to the next level for me, was my father passing in 2006. I never thought I would compete. Honestly, I thought competing was one of the corniest things in the world. I had a very, very negative view of competition. And like I said, it wasn't until my man Sam wanted to do his first show back in, this is 2006, 2007. And, hey, Joe, what's up, brother? I haven't seen you in a minute. We got to talk. Good to see you. And so I did that first show. Where was I going with that thought? Joe, you threw me off. Where was I going with that thought? That's what it was, my father. And I remember I did my first shows in 2008. I did 3 shows that year. And I remember my first show was a drug-free show, and my second 2 shows were both weren't drug tested. So I was competing against people who weren't quote-unquote clean, as we say. So with that being the case, I remember those last 2 shows kind of soured me on competing because I could tell it wasn't a fair playing ground. It just wasn't. I remember being backstage at a show in Tribeca Theater. It was an NPC show. And I remember texting my wife on my BlackBerry. That's how long ago this was. I had my BlackBerry. I loved that. I think it was 7290. That was the model I had. Anyway, I was backstage texting my wife because it was a figure competitor. Hey, Stacy. It was a figure competitor, female, jacked. I mean, shredded from head to toe. It was crazy. I'd never seen something like that in my life before. And I'll be backstage hearing different stories about what people do, to get into the best shape of their lives. I remember one guy talking about how he went to bed at 190 and woke up at 175 because of some type of insulin. Something he did with insulin, I forget. But I just remember being backstage hearing this stuff. I was like, this isn't what I want to do. This isn't people I want to be around. So that was 08. All 2009 I didn't compete. And it wasn't until I saw a photo of Stan McQuay. He's an Asian Filipino bodybuilder. Please forgive me if I get his nationality incorrect. Leave me alone, B. I'm working some kinks out, guys. I'm working some kinks out. It'll get better as time goes on. My wife always trying to get at me. Anyway, I saw a photo of him and I realized that his physique seemed realistic to me. And that was, I rededicated myself to bodybuilding after that in 2009. It was November. And then 2010 is when I really went to go and hit the stage hard. And I've been going hard ever since. But I remember since my father passed, competing really helped me cope with his passing. It gave me something to really focus all my energy into, and to take all that anger and all that pain and all that depressive state of however you want to put it, all the guilt of the things you didn't say, all of the frustration you had from past arguments you had, just wasting time doing dumb stuff. And I could funnel it into something. My wife was in school at the time working on her doctorate, and I was working full time as well, so I just was able to funnel all that energy. I remember clearly doing cardio and fighting back tears, not even knowing why. But it was just a part of my healing process. And it was in that time period where I really dedicated myself the most to the process, and when I really started digging in deeper and really elevated my physique to the next level. But that came from because of the pain of the passing. Hey Nancy, I haven't seen you in forever. Good to see you. And it came from the passing of my father. And but that's why I say why bodybuilding. Bodybuilding allows you to do so much. It's one of the most healthiest. It could be, you can take it an unhealthy route as well, don't get me wrong, but it's an outlet that really allows you and gives you the ability to give fully of yourself to something that will actually make you better in the process as well. Because if you just sown all of the hurt, all of the frustration, all of the pain, whatever it may be, even all of the joys, and bodybuilding allowed me and gave me that avenue, that vehicle in order to do that. And it's not so much about the shows or the competitions, but it's more so about the person that it has me to become in the process. And I think my 10 minutes is up. I probably went over 10 minutes. I have a good timer. But like I said, that's for me why bodybuilding. There's more to it, but that's the main journal just as to why and how I got started and why it was that much, why it's still important to me even to this day. And it's the person I've become now is because of it, because of the pain and because of all the things that went on in life. But bodybuilding really taught me the ability to take those things, harness those things, and really make lemonade out of some lemons for real. And my physique I have now is a byproduct of just a lot of the ups and downs, and just taking them and channeling them into the gym and releasing them in a safe environment. So if you ever thought about competing, or even just living a bodybuilding lifestyle, taking your body more serious, taking your health more serious, I guarantee you that there's so many more benefits than things that you'll lose out on in the process. Now, it is a growing process. It's not for everybody, especially if you want to go competitive level. There's a lot that it's going to ask a lot of you. It's going to ask for the best of you. However, if you're willing to give the best of you, I'm telling you, you're going to reap so much more. So that's the end of my first 10 minutes. As I said, as I go along from week to week, my goal is to get better at my speaking, to get better at me controlling my thoughts and letting things just flow more effectively, and just to give more of myself and connect with people right now. What up, James? I've been seeing you since like high school, dude. Much love. And so every Monday, Wednesday, Friday as of right now, at 1 o'clock, the goal from 1 to 1:10, just is talking different topics from bodybuilding to nutrition to fatherhood to being a husband to balancing business with family and things along those lines. This is so much that we all have to share to give to each other. So my goal is to give more of myself, and in doing that, I'm also blessed as well. So all right, you guys, I'll be back on Wednesday at 1 o'clock for my next 10 minutes. Peace and God bless, y'all. I don't know how to stop this thing. Ha.